In this video, we will talk about the Battle of Hastings, how William conquered England. The Battle of Hastings is one of the most famous battles in English history. It took place on October 14, 1066, near Hastings, a town in southern England. This battle changed the course of English history because it led to the Norman conquest of England. Before we talk about the battle itself, let's look at the events that led up to it. Background: why did the battle happen? In January 1066, King Edward the Confessor of England died without a clear heir. This created a power vacuum, and several people claimed they had the right to be the next king of England. The main contenders were Harold Godwinson. He was an English nobleman and the brother-in-law of King Edward. The English nobles chose him as the new king, and he was crowned Harold II. William, Duke of Normandy. He was a powerful French nobleman from Normandy in northern France. William claimed that Edward had promised him the throne years earlier. He also said that Harold had sworn an oath to support his claim. Harald Hardrada. He was the king of Norway and believed he had a right to the English throne because of an old agreement between his family and a previous English king. Harold Godwinson became king, but both William and Harald Hardrada were not happy about it. They decided to invade England to take the throne by force. The Norwegian invasion. Before the Battle of Hastings, Harold had to deal with another threat. In September 1066, Harald Hardrada invaded northern England with a large army. Harold marched his troops north and fought the Norwegians at the Battle of Stamford Bridge on September 25, 1066. Harold won the battle, and Harald Hardrada was killed. This was a great victory for Harold, but it came at a cost. His army was tired, and many soldiers were lost. William's invasion. While Harold was fighting the Norwegian invasion in the north, William, Duke of Normandy, was preparing to invade England from the south. William had spent months gathering a large army and building a fleet of ships to transport his troops across the English Channel. He was determined to claim the English throne, which he believed the late King Edward the Confessor had promised him. William's preparations were thorough, and his army was well equipped with skilled cavalry, archers, and foot soldiers. On September 28, 1066, William and his Norman forces landed on the southern coast of England, near Hastings. This was a critical moment, as it marked the beginning of William's campaign to conquer England. The Normans quickly established a foothold and began preparing for battle. Meanwhile, Harold, who had just won a decisive victory against the Norwegians at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, received news of William's invasion. Despite his army being exhausted and weakened from the previous battle, Harold had no choice but to march his troops south to confront this new threat. Harold's decision to rush his army to Hastings was both bold and risky. His soldiers had little time to rest or recover, and the long march from the north to the south of England put additional strain on them. Nevertheless, Harold was determined to defend his kingdom. The stage was set for a historic clash between the English and Norman forces, a battle that would ultimately decide the fate of England. William's careful planning and timing, combined with Harold's exhaustion and the need to fight on two fronts, played a significant role in shaping the outcome of the Battle of Hastings. This moment highlights the importance of strategy, timing, and resilience in warfare, as well as the challenges faced by leaders in defending their lands against multiple threats. The Battle of Hastings. Harold's army arrived near Hastings on October 13, 1066, and took a strong defensive position on Senlac Hill. This gave them a significant advantage because the Normans would have to attack uphill, making it harder for them to break through. Harold's forces were mostly foot soldiers, including elite warriors called housecarls, who were well-trained and heavily armed. They formed a shield wall, a tight formation where soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder with overlapping shields, making it difficult for the enemy to penetrate. This tactic was highly effective in defending against the initial Norman attacks. William's army, on the other hand, was a mix of cavalry, soldiers on horseback, archers, and foot soldiers. The Normans were better organized and equipped with superior weapons and armor. William also had a strategic plan to break the English shield wall. The battle began on the morning of October 14, with the Normans launching repeated attacks. Despite their efforts, the English held their ground, thanks to their strong defensive position and disciplined shield wall. At one point, a rumor spread that William had been killed, causing panic among the Norman troops. To rally his men, William lifted his helmet to show his face, proving he was still alive. This act boosted the morale of his army and kept them fighting. William then used a clever tactic. He ordered his soldiers to pretend to retreat. This trick worked, as some of the English soldiers broke their formation to chase the retreating Normans. This was a critical mistake because it weakened the shield wall. The Normans quickly turned around and attacked the disorganized English forces, breaking through their defenses. By the end of the day, Harold and many of his best soldiers were dead, and the English army was defeated. William's victory at the Battle of Hastings marked the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of Norman dominance in England. His clever tactics, combined with the discipline and strength of his army, secured his place as one of history's most successful conquerors. The battle not only changed the course of English history, but also demonstrated the importance of strategy, leadership, and adaptability in warfare. After the Battle of Hastings, William marched to London. The English nobles had no choice but to accept him as their new king. He was crowned William the Conqueror on Christmas Day, 1066, in Westminster Abbey. This marked the beginning of Norman rule in England. Why was the Battle of Hastings important? The Battle of Hastings was a turning point in English history for several reasons. First, it brought Norman rule to England. William the Conqueror replaced the English nobles with Normans, and French became the language of the court and government, influencing English society for centuries. Second, William introduced the feudal system, where the king owned all the land and distributed it to loyal followers in exchange for military service. This system strengthened royal control and organized society in a new way. Third, the Normans built castles across England to maintain power and control the population. These castles became symbols of Norman authority and helped them secure their rule. Fourth, William ordered the creation of the Domesday Book, a detailed survey of land and property in England. This record provides valuable insights into life and society at the time. Finally, the Normans brought their language and culture, which blended with Anglo-Saxon traditions to shape modern English. The Battle of Hastings not only changed who ruled England, but also transformed its politics, culture, and society, leaving a lasting legacy. The Battle of Hastings was a decisive moment in history. It ended Anglo-Saxon rule in England and began a new era under Norman control. William the Conqueror's victory changed the political, social, and cultural landscape of England. The effects of the Norman conquest can still be seen today in the English language, legal system, and architecture. The battle may have happened nearly 1,000 years ago, but its impact is still felt. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.